Hey guys, Zach here with Sherpa Equipment Company. Today we're going to be taking our Princeton rack and showing you how to get it installed onto your 4th Gen 4Runner. To get the Sherpa rack installed and the factory rack removed, you're going to want to use a plastic trim tool, a 12mm socket, a 5/32 Allen key, a 13mm wrench, as well as the socket to make it a little easier, and then a 7/16" wrench as well. Once you've got the whole rack unboxed, let's go ahead and confirm we've got all the right items. You're going to have 2 side plates of the rack. You're going to have 10 crossbars total. You're going to have your wind fairing, and then you're going to have a bag that has all of your hardware, seals, and mounts inside. Those are going to have the following quantities. To get the factory rack removed, the first step you're going to do is take your plastic trim tool, and we're going to remove these caps. To do that, I found that a flathead screwdriver can go between the plastic and the rubber there. You get your trim tool installed between the plastic and rubber here. You'll lift a little, you can get your trim tool underneath that screwdriver, and then you're going to pry away from you. It is good to note that sometimes this plastic is brittle and can break, as ours did here. So we'll pull up. This one is very, very brittle, but there's going to be some tabs on the bottom here that you're trying to lift up and out. We're going to go ahead and do that on every corner. Once you've got the plastic caps off of all 4 corners of the rack, you're going to take your 10mm wrench and we're going to remove these 2 mounting bolts. Go ahead and start loosening them. They should break free fairly easy. Sometimes Toyota puts some Loctite on them. The one thing we do mention with these is always remove them even with each other. Inside the headliner, there's a small clip that's holding both of these bolts. If you undo one too quickly, the clip can actually fall and you're going to have to drop your whole headliner, get that clip back into place, and then secure the rack. Once you've got them all the way out, go ahead and remove them and get the other 3 corners. Once you've got all 8 of those mounting bolts removed from the corners, you're going to go ahead and lift up. It'll break that rubber seal free. I usually recommend a buddy, and you can go ahead and pull the rack right off. First step in our process, we're going to go ahead and grab our first crossbar. We're going to grab 2 of our mounts. The mounts are going to be labeled with an R or an F. You're going to want to grab both of the Fs or both of the Rs to start, and that's what we're going to put on the same crossbar here. In addition, you're going to want to grab 2 of the 7/16" silver bolts, matching silver washers, and 2 T-nuts for each mount. We're going to go ahead and get the mounts installed here. I always like to set them both upside down. This way I'm ensuring that the notched sides both face the same direction. That's going to end up going forward on the vehicle. We'll explain that more in depth later. We'll go ahead and roll the T-nut in. You can also slide the T-nut in from the end of the crossbar if you'd like, but they will roll in to make it nice and easy throughout the process. Go ahead and set the mount on top, grab your bolt and washer, and we'll go ahead and get that mount secured. You can just leave it hand tight for now. We're just prepping all these parts to put them up on the roof. Just like that. I always move them just a little, just make sure they can adjust, and we're ready to go to the other side. Once you've got all 4 of your mounts attached to your 2 main mounting crossbars, you're going to grab 1 more crossbar, and we're going to get the fairing attached. What I usually recommend doing is line the fairing up with the crossbar. Go ahead and grab your 6 T-nuts, and you're going to insert them lined up as best you can with the 6 mounting holes. They'll be able to just roll in the center, on one end, and then the other end. To install those, you're going to want to grab your short socket button bolts, matching black washers, and you'll need 6 of them. Once you've got all the hardware prepped, Go ahead and set the fairing lightly down on top of the crossbar, eyeing it until you've got those T-nuts lined up. From there, simply grab one, and you're going to thread it down into that T-nut. I usually leave them slightly loose so you can adjust the fairing to line it up with the other T-nuts. Once you have all 6 of those bolts attached, go ahead and line up the fairing with the edge of the crossbars. They'll be exactly the same length. From there, you'll grab your Allen key, and you're just simply going to snug up those bolts to secure the fairing to that crossbar. And at this point, we're prepped to go over to the vehicle and start installing. Once you've got those parts prepped for the installation of the rack, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to install our rubber seals and our aluminum spacers. You're going to need 2 of them for each mounting location. They've got these little plastic covers on the top that the spacer will actually kind of slide on top of and rest on top of, just similar to that. You're going to want to do that on both of them. And then from there, you're going to take your rubber seal. There is no right or wrong way to install it. It's going to seal no matter how you have it. You line it up over the top of those aluminum spacers, and you go ahead and push that seal down onto those mounting locations. The aluminum spacers should sit a little bit lower than the rubber to allow it to squish down as everything gets tightened. Once you've got this first one installed over those factory seals, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other 3 locations. Once we've got all the rubber seals installed on the roof of the vehicle, we're ready to get the main 2 mounting crossbars installed. If you're doing this yourself, I usually recommend a towel or a soft rag to put on the opposite side that you're working on just to protect the paint. When you have the crossbar, make sure that both side mounts are matching. In this case, they're both going to have F to mark front. Additionally, you're going to notice that there is a notched edge and a rounded edge on the mounts. You want to make sure the notch faces forward to the front of the vehicle on all 4 mounts. Once you verify that both notches are going to face forward and both mounts in this case say F for the front, you're good to go ahead, set that crossbar onto that soft towel on one side, and you're going to go ahead and line up the mount with the other, and it'll just set right on top. From there, we're going to take our new M8 mounting bolts, our M8 bonded washers, and a little bit of our Vibratite or Loctite to secure these bolts into the roof. Once all of your bolts are prepped and ready, you're going to take a little bit of that Loctite, go ahead and open it up, should be closed off. If it's not, shoot us an email and we'll get another tube out to you as quick as we can. But you're going to want to put just a little bit onto the threads. I usually recommend on the bottom, as that's where the threads are going to actually attach. Set that off to the side, making sure it's not going to spill anywhere. And then we just simply insert that in and start threading it in by hand. I usually just get it started and go to the other bolt. Now that both sides are loosely installed, we're going to go ahead and start tightening these mounting bolts down. To do that, you're going to take your 13mm wrench and you're just going to lightly tighten them. I always recommend doing this by hand to make sure that there's no seized bolts, and then swapping back and forth to do it evenly as well. Perfect. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same on the other side. Once you've got those tightened on both sides, we usually recommend torque marking them with either a paint pen, torque paste, or something similar. And then you're good to move on to the rear. This is what your bonded washers should look like once they're fully compressed. The top silver washer will flatten out a little bit, and this rubber will start to ooze out just a little bit on each side. Once you've got both crossbars installed and torqued down, we're ready to go ahead and get the side plates on. If you're by yourself, I would grab that towel again, and you're going to want to put it up on this front corner. Then we can go grab the side plate. Once you've got your side plate, I usually recommend just setting it nicely on the towel. You're going to need 4 total of the 1-inch socket button bolts. And we go ahead and you line it up. The small slot is going to be the one utilized with the mounting bars of the rack itself. They'll line up perfectly with the crossbars and then just start hand threading it in. I usually like to get one on the front and then go to the rear so that I don't have to hold on to it the whole time. Once you've got the main mounting bars mounted, the side plates attached, we're good to go ahead and add the additional crossbars and that front fairing. Once you've got all the other crossbars installed on the rack, you'll still have all that hardware loose. We're good to go ahead and get the front fairing installed. Similar to the other steps, I always recommend a towel, kind of set it down, and then you're going to line it up and install those bolts. We'll come to the other side of the fairing, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Line up the bolt holes in the crossbar and attach the 1-inch socket button bolts. Similar to the other side, I usually recommend lining up the bottom of the fairing with the corner of the side plate and snugging it up there. At this point, these bolts and the main mounting bolts for the rack itself should be the only ones tight. All these others should be loose so that we can now center the rack. To get the rack centered up, I usually recommend using a tape measure. Put it flush up against the side plate and measure to the inside edge of your mount right there. On this side, I'm right now sitting about 4.5, so I'm going to go to the other side and see if that's the same. We're at about 4.25 on this side, so I'm going to adjust my whole rack just slightly towards me. Now I take another measurement. In this case, I moved it to 4.5, so I moved it a little much. It's just a matter of figuring out where that center point is with one crossbar and then moving to the rear mounting crossbar. Once you've got both mounting crossbars centered, tightened up, and good to go, you can now move on to making sure the rack is centered forward to backwards. The side plate is going to be slightly movable right now because all these other bolts were still loose. If you need to adjust it, feel free to loosen up these main mounting crossbar bolts on the outside as well until the side plate is lined up perfectly with the body line. From there, go to each crossbar, tighten those 2 socket button bolts, and you can move on to the last step, putting on the nameplate. Install your nameplate. You're going to have 2 of those 7/16" bolts and washers, 2 T-nuts, and then you'll have the nameplate and the backing plate. What you'll want to do, take the T-nuts, roll them in similar to the other parts of the rack, grab one of your bolts. I usually recommend starting with one side to make it a little easier. Line up the actual mounting holes, put the bolt through, and you can even do it vertical just to line it up. Keep that one kind of loose, it's secured to the rack. And then now I'm going to line up my other side here. I'm going to go ahead and take a tape measure, measure that it's centered up on both sides. It doesn't have to be. You can install this nameplate wherever you like. This customer has asked us to put it in the center of the crossbars. Once you've got the nameplate installed on your rack, you've got the whole rack installed. I would recommend putting a wrench on all the bolts just to make sure you got everything good and tight, and you're all set. If you have any questions, reach out to me via our customer service line on the phone, email, or even our social media team, and we'll get a good answer for you. Thank you.